he saw the trailer when he was talking to some government officials. So there was a meeting.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. So we were in Delhi where
Yeah.
you dropped the trailer. So yeah, everybody was there and we were like, "What the fuck is this, man?"
Yeah.
The burden of an ancient pact lies on our shoulders. A burden no father desires to pass on. Drew, my son, we are the guardians of a gate. A gate that bridges this reality to its undoing. We are the last bastion, the ones who contain these nightmares, and make sure the fireflies keep glowing. The fireflies grow brighter when there is darkness. A darkness which is not present in you. Don't follow the trail.
Hello, welcome back to the gaming podcast by Underdog. We are in the second episode of the season 2, and we have VK Samhit from Born Monkey. A quick introduction, man.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Vika Samhit from Born Monkey. Um, I'm the founder of Born Monkey. I've been developing games for the past 5 years. We've been around for about 5 years now. Um, yeah, we've made all sorts of games for RMG platforms and Play Store, App Store, and PC. Yeah.
So, how is just before we get into the new game that you guys are working on? How did the journey start?
So I've been making games before starting the company. I've started with Adobe Flash, if you remember.
I remember, dude. Action script.
Yeah, ActionScript 2 was when I started programming, and I discovered that I was very interested in animation
Okay.
back then in my schooling days. I discovered this 2D software where you could make animations, and then I figured out that you can also like make games
Yeah.
like Flash. Then my mind just you know so I started like looking.
This was in which year?
This was in my school days, maybe 8th standard, 7th standard.
Oh, what was the year?
Uh, I'm not sure, like maybe 2006, 2005 or something.
Yeah, yeah. That was the time when actually web-based games were doing really good.
Yeah,
Games to Win, Zapak,
yeah.
Jump
Zapac was
Games.
around.
Yeah, yeah. I used to work at Games to Win in 2008, 9, right? So
Yeah, India Games was also pretty big back then.
yeah, but they were not big on the web-based games. They were on Symbian Java-based Brew
Yeah,
phones, keypad phones, and making all
yeah,
sorts of licensed games. Yeah.
yeah. Newgrounds. I think that was the web.
Newgrounds, Miniclip, A Game. There were like 50 different websites.
So yeah,
Uh,
I used to make like pretty crappy games. I mean, considering the resources that I had, and I was pretty young, so I used to make like platformer games, mostly like super bad Mario clones. So yeah, that is how I started, and then as I was maybe when Unity was available, I started to pick up Unity, and I transitioned from ActionScript Flash to Unity. I
Mhm.
started making a lot of games. In my engineering, I did like a lot of work with for other companies outside India and inside India. And by the end of third year of my engineering, I launched my own game called Shape It. Um, Obviously, I was a student. I didn't do any marketing, so I just left it. And then after like 8 months of the launch, for some reason, it got featured in China App Store,
Okay.
and it I think it got like about 50K downloads, which was like,
Which was big at that time.
yeah,
Yeah.
which was big, and like it was a motivation, like a booster for me to like, okay, I can do this thing.
Nice.
um, so that was the kickstart for like me starting a studio. So in
Yeah.
my fourth year I started Born Monkey.
And all this was happening in Hyderabad.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay. So when exactly did you start? Which year was, like, I think
Yeah, my fourth year of engineering, 2018.
2018. Okay. 2018. But before that, you were making a game on. I remember we also had a discussion around about 4 5 years back, 5 years back, when you guys were making Auto Raja.
Yeah, Auto Raja was in 2019 to 20, I think.
Ah, okay, okay, okay.
After
So
starting,
this happened after you started Born
started the
Monkey.
studio.
And how did that start? Like, you started it alone, or
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I started the company alone. I had like one artist that I convinced him to work with me. Like 20K salary milega. Something like that.
man?
Yeah, so that was the only guy that I could convince, and he did a good job with like 3D art.
Yeah,
And then I was programmer. I was making the multiplayer, photon, whatnot. And thanks to IGDC, right, we met a lot of publishers at
yeah,
IGDC. 2019. This was physical, right? So we were able to like show the game, make them play the game,
right,
and after like few months, MPL picked it up. We had an exclusive deal and launched it on their platform.
right.
Yeah, so it did quite well on MPL. Like we had at one point we had about 5 lakh users playing the game. Pretty huge server bills for us, but that was like the first game that scaled, right? So we were pretty happy.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And then how was Auto Raja?
Yeah, so Autoraja did pretty well on MPL, but as the platform, or let's say, the situation was live services, right? That was not, people were not ready for it, live services at that time. PUBG was just getting started and when Autoraja was there. So
Yeah,
we couldn't do live service on their platform, and the interest kind of, died down, because, no new content in a multiplayer game. So
correct.
it just dies down. At the same time, if you don't have live services in a competitive game, and people get better and better, and if you know MPL, right, it's a
Yeah,
pay per session kind of deal.
correct.
So you're competing with people who are super super better, and you just entered it. They just kill you in very quickly. So matchmaking, a lot of live services issues kind of made the game drown. But when it was at its peak, right, for the first 9 months, it did really well. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. And this was all happening in 2019, 20.
1920, yeah. 2020 and 2021 first quarter is when we discontinued Outer.
Okay, okay. So, so now talking about Occult Chambers, man,
Yeah,
what a jump from
yeah,
from a tune-based multiplayer kind of a game
yes,
to a PC console with such a good quality.
yeah.
How did that shift happen?
Yeah, so I've been tinkering with Unreal whenever in my engineering, but I was alone. Like I didn't know other people who were using Unreal, who were even aware of it in Hyderabad at least.
Yeah,
But when I started the company, the opportunities were all about games that are snackable, small in size. Size was a huge thing before Geo, and even for now for Tier 3 cities, right? So I couldn't convince, let's say, publishers or anyone to use Unreal Engine and make some decent.
actually, this period of between 2018 to 2021, at least, hyper casual was like
Yeah,
dominating the
yeah,
market, right? Even we tried to do it for
yeah. I,
one.
mean, I think everybody tried to make hyper casual games, but
Yeah,
problem with that was the success rate is so less, right? 0.86
correct.
percent. You have to be like super viral in terms of your thought,
Yeah,
which is at
with
the same time.
with the publishers, you can hardly go to an exponential, not an exponential, but a limited amount of money rolling in every month, but
Yeah.
it's not sustainable for sure. You just
Back then it was not even paper prototype. You had to burn your money and make prototypes,
yeah
and it did not go well for us at least in terms of hyper casual, because culturally also we are not in sync with US, where majority of hyper casual games
yeah
work. So hats off to all the Indian devs who pulled off hyper casual games,
very
because
true,
they were very connected with that audience, right? So
very
that
true,
made it
very
very
true.
difficult for us as
Yeah,
developing. Yeah.
it's not. To be honest, it's not easy
Yeah,
cracking an
very,
hyper
very.
casual game. Yeah,
People think it's making silly prototypes and then uploading, you get good numbers and
yeah,
you make money, but a lot of thought goes into hypercatch.
very true, very true. Yeah. So how did Occult start?
Yeah. So after Raja, I kind of like started putting a team together that only focused on Unreal Engine.
Okay.
So I knew Unreal Engine, but let's say I was a pro at Unity, but not at Unreal. So I had to bring in a consultant to kind of make the whole team learn about Unreal Engine and
Yeah.
whatnot. And we kind of invested about 2 years into like building pipelines, building um, prototypes and whatnot. We had an Autoroja PC game as well, which we cancelled, uh, and then moved on to Occult. But we wanted to like see the reason I started, or many of the indies in India start a company, right, is because they want to do this
Correct.
AA to AAA games at some point.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that is what got us into this field, right?
Yeah.
So we felt like the financial situation, the PCs are now better, far better than Unreal couldn't run on old PCs. Now we are getting good PCs for reasonable price. 1080p gaming is pretty good, right? So the time was great. Unreal Engine 4 to 5 transition was happening. A lot of exciting stuff. Unreal Grant.
Yeah, that's what I was coming to. Also, the VC in the VC community and the investors started believing in
Yeah,
the bigger products, right?
exactly.
Which takes long
To
time
take
to
a
build.
reasonable
Yeah,
amount of time to like develop.
yeah,
Yeah,
and not just focus on the traction and the DAUs and all that stuff, but they were actually trying to bet on games which were bigger, which takes time to build,
yeah,
but probably could put India on the global map, right?
exactly.
Yeah. So,
So
so
yeah, that is how like we started exploring, and we thought we couldn't make like big games, like actual big games, but let's say if we had a considerable amount of budget, maybe we could pull off an action horror game,
mhm.
uh, primarily a horror game that transitions into a action game by the end of the story. So that is how Occult Chamber started. It started to evolve, boil, and um, I think in 2020-21 we made like a small prototype internally. We had a few assets made in house with our pipeline, and few assets that we bought on that
Mhm.
side. And we kind of got a look of the game, and we thought, okay, this is something that is exciting to us internally as well. We felt like we could pull this off with a smaller team as well.
Yeah.
So if we don't have the budget, let's say from a publisher right now, we could still make Occult Chambers, but it'll just take 3 more years extra. So it's like that. So we have a good team, a good great 3D journalist, great cinematic artist, character artist.
How big is this team now?
Right now we used to be about 12 to 15. Now we are 10. So people come in and go out. Yeah, I'm sure you know that.
But how is this? How is the how are you building the runway to build this game?
Yeah. So as I said, we worked on a lot of RMG games and like platform deals, right?
Yeah.
So we have good mobile portfolio that is kind of supporting us. At the same time, we do here and there we do good amount of service as well.
Yeah.
So that the all that
So
money,
eventually B2B has to be there
yeah,
to
obviously,
keep the money rolling.
yeah. So I mean, you'll have to at some point
Very
do
true.
so, right? Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
keep the
Uh,
money.
yeah. But did you get the Unreal grant as well, or you trying
Yeah,
right now?
we got the grant. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Really nice of Epic India to recognize the project and give us the grant. It really not just financially but morally, right, to the team.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a great boost. So It was great boost for the team itself, where this project took, let's say, it was only me who believed in it. Now the whole team believes in it. So
Correct.
that is the difference.
It's kind of a validation that you
Exactly.
get from the industry as well, right?
Yeah.
And so this project, how far you? So firstly, uh, give me like an overview of the game. What is it? Where is it set? And who are you actually targeting?
Yeah, so Occult Chambers is a action horror game set in Indian Himalayas, Indian Himalayan valleys. So it revolves around agoris, a lot of dark side of our mythology, creatures from our mythology, and a lot of occult rituals and occult powers is what the whole world is set around.
Okay.
So it's kind of uh, finding the horror in our mythology, right? So we're trying to figure out what is natively horrific to us, at the same time still beautiful, right? So we're trying to find that beauty, soft spot between horror and Indian mythological beauty. So that is where the heart is set, the Occult Chambers heart is set. The story is about Dhruv, the main character, who is trying to find his father, who has been accused of massacres. He massacred two villages completely, so he's accused of that, and Dhruv is trying to unravel the whole thing. So that is kind of the setting and the, let's say, the plot, I would say. Yeah.
Okay. And how long is the gameplay?
The game is supposed to be 8 hours. The main story is supposed to be 8 hours, and you'll have like side missions that might stretch it to about 12 to 13 hours.
Okay. Okay. Great. Great.
Pretty narratively driven game. It's very linear. Yeah.
And there's no so because you mentioned mythological aspect, there's no direct connection to the characters or the storylines from the Indian literature, culture.
There's no direct connection. Yes. So we are basing off of all the creatures that are in the mythology. Inspiration is there. Their core concepts are there, but they have nothing to do with the actual mythology, because India, we know that they're pretty touchy.
It's scary.
Yeah. Unless we are like super big, we're not going to touch the actual things. So yeah, it kind of brushes on the mythology, but doesn't exactly use the main characters from the mythology. But here and there, you would hear their names or like something like that in terms of like stories and all legends, but nothing that is directly taken from the mythology.
Got it.
Inspired, yeah, inspired from the mythology.
Got it. And how far you are from the finish line?
Yeah, so uh, I think we've done a demo vertical slice of the game, which
Yeah,
showcased it at IGDC as well.
I played it. It's beautiful, man.
Oh, did you play it?
I played it. So one thing that just caught my eye was I literally got the vibe of Uncharted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of people have said that, even though we did not have started in the spectrum, but yeah, because we were aiming for like more Resident Evil vibe, but
Got it.
for some reason people are, maybe because of the third person and the whole.
Yeah, the environment also, the caves and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Gives you that vibe. But honestly, it was like a shock when the game dev community in India saw the trailer.
Okay.
Because the trailer dropped all of a sudden, nobody had any idea of what was
Yeah,
happening. And I think I remember we were actually at some event. I don't know where we were. I think we were at the
yeah,
IGDC blockchain event.
okay, IGDC blockchain. I was there at IGDC blockchain.
No, then some event we were together, and then
Yeah. Okay.
this
Harish, do you know Harish, right?
I know Harish. Yeah.
Yeah, Harish told me that he saw the trailer when he was talking to some government officials. So there was a meeting.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So we were in Delhi where
Yeah.
you dropped the trailer. So yeah, everybody was there, and we were like, "What the fuck is this, man?"
Yeah, Harish told me that he was like, yeah, इसके पास बहुत पैसा होगा इस.
Yeah. Like to be honest, a lot of people think, and that is why this podcast also. A lot of people have a misconception, and you you're not really out there in the community a lot.
Yeah, we are pretty like low key
Yeah.
active. Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't know how it's happening, what is happening back there at your studio.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people even had this conversation. I know this conversation was happening about you guys already had a big amount of funding, which is why
I
which is
wish.
why which no, I don't know
Yeah.
who started that, but I remember this conversation happening at the IGDC booth, at your booth itself. That
Got it.
there's a lot of backup and financial support, which is why you are actually trying to able to create something like this.
Got it.
So yeah, tell the people, dude.
Yeah.
Tell the people what is happening and
What you
how.
guys, yeah, what was seen in the teaser, what was seen in the game, right? The demo itself. It took us 2 years of time to like get there. So so we were like basically our artists were like scratching scratching the walls, making textures that kind of get that vibe. We were studying so many temples. It was a lot of R&D, like getting this stuff into Unreal, seeing how it looks,
Yeah.
the whole vibe and all. My father has done the music for like both the teaser and the game.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
so he's a music composer in TFI, Telugu film industry. So
Okay.
uh, I took great care in like making music for the game, because horror games are like the heart is in the
Yeah.
music
Absolutely.
sounds.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we did a lot of work, obviously, but it if we had money we could have done that in like 3-4 months. But it took us like 2 years. So you'll have to understand, we were coming in and going out of projects. We used to get disappointed that we had to leave Occult and do some service project or some
Been there, man. Been
yeah.
there.
Yeah, so we used to like go back and forth, and like the team used to lose motivation, right? We had lost good devs, good artists, because they lost motivation because it was taking forever.
Yeah.
uh, so yeah, we struggled a lot to like get to that, at least the demo. Like people in the studio, they had like Slack chains where they were losing confidence. We are just making a demo, it's taking forever. So like a lot of stuff, a lot of drama that is not necessary, but has happened. But yeah, the hard work that the devs, myself included, the consultant Umram, who is from Turkey,
Yeah.
we all like pulled it all together, made a demo that we thought is good. And before the demo, the team was, since the team's motivation was going down, I had to like put out something. That is the reason why I put a teaser. If not, I would have straight up dropped a demo in IGDC. So
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
for me to like show, okay, see, people are going to be interested in this. Let me just put a teaser out. And the reactions were, it was great. The reactions were kind of fixed our studio for a while. Like, yeah, motivation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. People don't understand this. It's not just about convincing and motivating the
Yeah.
people outside, the users, the consumers, but also the people who are working on it.
Yeah, but these guys are giving their years, right? Like they're giving their 8 hours every day
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
something, and if it doesn't come out, the
And
expectation.
that's one of the actually it's a very genuine problem that every artist goes through,
Yeah,
because they really work on things for a long time, and then if there's nothing that they can showcase it out as their own work, it's a kind of a demotivating phase
yeah,
for them as well. Yeah.
yeah. So Reddit, once we dropped the teaser, right? So Reddit reacted to it, and Reddit, right? They'll tear you apart. So they said this is a photoshopped and whatnot. अरे पूरा teaser Photoshop कैसे बनाया? They said mega scans. Then I said, Array, if I get all these Indian temples scanned in mega scans, right? If I find them, then there is no need for the art team. I will just download everything and get an environment designer and point
Yeah.
it out. So they were saying like 100% mega scans. Like when mega scans came, a lot of this, throwing around mega scans name in the name of graphics, right?
Right.
a lot of people were doing hard work and they would just say 100% mega scams, or like, mega scans is just made with mega scans. They haven't done anything.
Which is what is happening with the AI stuff also right now.
Yeah, it's just derailing the artist's reputation at this point.
Yeah. So, what is the plan? Like, are you going first on PC, or you're waiting for the partners? Like, because a lot of us are also having conversations with a few platforms.
Yeah, yeah.
So there is a chance that even we back at Underdogs, might directly go on one of the platforms and not on PC. So, is there any idea or a roadmap for that?
As you said, yeah, we are also talking to platforms, but uh, we don't know for sure, right, what is going to happen. So the idea was to like launch the demo. We were doing some polishing on Steam. uh, so we want to get like audience reaction, like let's say YouTubers or whatnot,
Yeah.
and then do another round of finding publishers. Because right now the discussion is, yeah, you made a game, but would people like to play this?
Hmm.
uh, is the game design strong enough? Do you
Yeah.
think the game looks great, it plays well, but do you think, let's say 4 to 5 mil, could we put that much money on a game that is being developed in India here,
Right.
with no history of making games like this?
Correct.
So we want to like kind of prove a point by putting it out there. Let the people decide, let the gamers decide, and then we'll pick our battles with the publishers. So yeah. So yeah, I mean platforms, yes, but I don't know what's happening, right? So we're not,
Yeah, but it would be either platforms or directly going with the publishers, right? But uh,
yeah,
self-publishing is not the route that you're
yeah,
taking for
that
sure.
obviously is not the case.
That's a bigger risk actually. It'd be like putting so many years of work together and just to realize that
It's a drop in the ocean. You'll not see where your game went. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, because
yeah.
yeah, people actually don't understand that it's a complete different expertise that is required to, you
Yeah, a
know,
lot of people, right? I had this discussion with VCs as well. They think that just money is going to solve your problem, but publishers are equipped with contacts, equipped with industry platform connections and whatnot, and maybe somewhere you'll have to put 50 lakhs or 50,000 or something, but a publisher could pull it off with a small call.
yeah,
It's not about money, it's about connections and how well they know the platform, how your game is going to be received, right? So a lot of Indian VCs do not understand how publishers push a game.
yeah,
So yeah, this discussion has happened a lot, and if you're making a game like this, we need a funding to complete the game, b a solid marketing to like put it in front of people and let them decide if they want to buy it.
yeah,
So so these are necessary. Publisher is like is very important for games like this.
yeah. Without naming them, can you tell me, did you approach any VCs for this as a model?
I mean, I've been open to like talking to VCs for the past 5 years.
Hmm.
I've talked to like every VC in the town. Uh, so
Yeah,
yeah,
why I'm asking this is because I want to understand what is their POV on this, on the game like this, and the overall model of making PC console titles from India,
yeah,
which are for global world.
yeah. So the primary problems to convince, right, is they keep saying that video games are a hit-driven industry.
Hmm.
Now, if this massive game flops, what's next?
Yeah.
So questions like this are the reason why, I mean, a majority of people have not taken bets on PC games,
Hmm.
exclusively PC and console games.
Yeah.
Uh, Even though a majority of the market is premium, like even the worst game will make some amount of money.
Right.
Uh, so uh, I think there is a lack of education in terms of how PC and consoles work. We don't have to make, so a majority of people, VCs, think that when we are making a game from India, right, they think it's only for India. This is one more issue.
Yeah.
So there we are making games set in a genre, and this genre is not bound to a region, right? So let's say horror specifically has fans all across the globe. Europe loves horror, Japanese love horror,
Yeah.
and you have USA. Amnesia is a massive hit in USA. So it's not about geography, it's about the genre. And no matter where you're coming from, where you're making games from, if you make a solid game, if it's fresh, gamers are going to play it. Especially in an environment like this where Ubisoft games are stale, EA games are not doing that great
Yeah.
except for narrative games. So a lot of live services games are getting cancelled. Recently, I think EA cancelled their, I think, uh, Titanfall's developers, their game. I don't know what name is, but they've cancelled it on mobile as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, this I remember having a conversation with one of the platforms. Also, this cultural aspect, right?
Hmm.
When it comes to global gaming audience, they have played, seen, experienced a lot of content which is Western in all
Yes.
the games, right? And recently, if you keep a track of all these indie titles also, you might have seen the growth of Japanese games, you know.
Yes. Yeah.
And all these games, if you try to figure out that one key thing in these games is these games that they don't care about the language, they are keeping it original in Japanese. So you as a user, if you want to play, you go through it and
Yeah.
read the subtitles, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But people loved it. People in the West loved those games, right? And then this platform also told us that they are also looking for new cultures that can be put in front of the Western audience, just like how Japanese games did. And what's better than India as a culture, or the
Yeah.
stories or the mythological aspect that we have in India, right? Also, if you see a few of the big games which came out in the past 4 5 years, they had this even even if it's just one level, it's based in India somewhere. Like you saw Hitman, there's Far Cry, there was Planet and Apes or some game, and then there was even the Uncharted. The whole version was in India, right?
Yep.
So validation is there. People love different. They
Culture.
want to see. They want to see it, and this is a USP. Why we also believe that games with Indian context in the Indian ethos would really work in the Western market.
Yep.
Let's
They've
just
not
hope.
been explored yet.
Yeah.
Even Assassin's Creed tried to explore it, but I think they just made like a small side scroller.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, Prince of Persia is also very close to our culture, but still not exactly our culture. But there is a massive interest in Indian culture, I would say. But it's just that either they are not able to, let's say, Westerners
Yeah.
are not able to have, let's say, source material that they can absorb. Now with Triple R and whatnot, I think maybe they will consider this. But for example, right, Sucker Punch is a Western studio, but
Yeah.
has successfully pulled off a very Japanese game, Ghost of Tsushima,
Yeah.
one of the best games according to me in the last 10 years. So
Right.
yeah, so they took most of their inspiration from Japanese movies, Japanese films that were popular in USA.
Yeah.
But right now, the movies that are being made in India, there is very little culture that is part of the movies, right? So
Right.
they don't have an identity. There's an identity crisis, and outsiders cannot figure out what India is. We insiders can find out, this is India.
Yeah.
We could point it out and show that this is our culture and this is hybrid.
Right.
So yeah, I mean that's why the outside world is not able to make games. I think the only one that remotely was successful at pulling it off is Uncharted people. Like they did like a decent job at showing our culture with.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was really beautiful. That's why it just connects with what
Yeah.
uh your demo also, like that was quite closer
Yeah.
to experience. All right, one last question before we go. When is the game coming out?
Yeah, that is the hardest question. Like I mean, the demo obviously might come in the next 2 months on Steam,
Okay.
but the game, I think if if we get, let's say, a publisher on board in the next 6 months, I think 2025 quarter 4 is when I think it will come out.
Okay, okay. This is a long way.
Yeah,
But you recently put out a Steam page, right? I saw.
yeah. We recently put out Steam.
Okay,
That was for the demo to drop. Yeah, exactly.
okay. And you're saying demo will come in next 2 months.
Yeah.
Great.
So we are like busy with other what do you say, other platforms, but we want to like get this out as soon as possible.
Yeah, I hope there's no B2B coming in those 2 months.
Yeah. We have a runway for like next 4-5 months, but after that we'll be like
B2B, B2B. Yeah. All right. Some closing statements. Just tell people, tell the aspiring game developers, who want to pursue, you want to work on their ideas which are of that scale.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I think just concentrate on core skills, right? Let's say if you're a game designer, make sure you're playing a lot of games and noting them down, all the interesting mechanics that you feel like you could borrow or modify, because most of the games are remixed. You take an old game and mix it with another game, and you get a new game. So a lot of game design is remixing old ideas with a new perspective. So for game designers, I would say play a lot of games, like as many as you can, and game feel is very important, and if you can capture that using game design, then you're golden. So for programmers, I would say don't go on a rush and make games that, and make baked games and release them on Play Store or something. Just work on the mechanics. Try to make as many different prototypes as possible. Don't try to like venture out. um, you know let's say you start a prototype and then you put it out, stuff like that. I would advise you to put out games, but concentrate on the core skill. Try to improve as a programmer rather than get on the cycle of releasing shitty games. so so yeah, that is the advice I would give you, and give the aspiring game developers. Yeah, just work on your craft, man. Like you'll get there. Yeah.
Awesome. Samit, thank you for joining us on this
Yeah,
podcast.
it was nice talking to you. Vaibhav.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Bye bye.
Bye.
One way, one, two, one,